I swear to God, I'm throwing all this shit right in the garbage.
It's my hobby, Janice. Why do you gotta belittle it?
Hello and welcome back to Not a Watch Snob. I am your host, Bill. And today, just like many other watch YouTubers, I've decided to do a state of the collection. Now, it has been an entire year since the last time I did a state of collection, around Christmas time of last year, and my collection has changed drastically. Since the pandemic and being a broke young college kid like myself, I actually sold off a huge portion of my collection. Basically all the watches that were more luxurious, I decided to kind of get rid of those and thin out that collection just so I could eventually move on to more higher end pieces. But also I wanted to keep some of the more meaningful pieces in my collection just so that I could really think back and look back at my life basically personified into watches. So I thought I'd share with you a couple of my pieces, maybe not all of them, but a couple of them, and really tell you what I've been up to lately. You're probably wondering to yourself, whatever happened to the Hawaiian shirts? Well, I kind of got too skinny for those Hawaiian shirts, and I just never end up ordering new ones. So, what do you think? Huh? You let me know in the comment section below, alright? So, let's get started. The first watch we're going to talk about is actually a really cool Seiko 5. Now, I just recently did a video on this, and this watch is actually pretty cool. I really enjoy the look of this watch. If you'd like to find that video, you can check it out up at the top corner, or this top corner, over here. The reason why I kept this watch and the reason why I like this watch so much is this was actually sent in by a fan, and whenever someone sends me in a watch, I usually treasure it and I keep on to it because I mean, I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you guys. So I really appreciate the support and the love that you guys do, that you guys give to me. And this is basically sent in from someone in, I believe, the Philippines. So it's kind of cool. It came in some packaging that was a Filipino newspaper, and I just thought that was really cool, and it kind of added a personal touch to it. So this Seiko 5 is definitely one of the ones that's keeping in my collection, and I really do enjoy this watch. The next watch we're going to be talking about is my tourbillon, my ERA Hyperion. Now this is the very first, world's first wandering hour tourbillon. Now the reason why I've kept this watch in my collection, many people say, oh, it's a hunk of junk, get rid of this watch, why are you wearing this watch, it's Chinese made. I've heard it all, I really have, but the reason why I kept this watch is because this is the first watch I bought after receiving bariatric surgery. Now, if you're wondering how I lost all the weight, I cheated. I fully cheated. But this was to commemorate the fact that I was changing my life for the better and trying my best. And since then, I've actually lost 179 pounds. And honestly, anybody out there who's thinking about going through this process, I highly recommend it. It's at the end of the day, it's a lot of work and dedication to keep off the weight. Like, I got to balance being happy and being healthy, you know, that constant struggle of Wendy's is right down the street and I really want a Baconator fry, but I got to keep on my diet. So this watch is definitely one of those watches that I wear all the time because it just reminds me of all the hardships I've gone through in the past year since getting that surgery. The next watch on my list is the Hamilton Ventura. Now, I love the look of this watch, and I love the story and the background of this watch. I think it's really cool. It's an amazing piece of history, and like I've said before, I'm such a huge Elvis fan that I just had to have this watch in my collection. So I kept this watch around because it just reminds me of my childhood, listening to Elvis. I had all the albums, I had the movies, I had it all. I used to actually dress up as him in the talent show. I'll show you a clip right now. And so it just means a lot to me that I actually have a piece of history and a watch that was worn by the king. Obviously, this one wasn't worn by the king, but this watch was worn by the king. So I'm really excited to have this in my collection, and I think it's just a funky piece. A lot of people ask questions, whoa, what is that? Can you explain more about that watch? And it really opens up dialogue between people who aren't watch collectors and, you know, someone like me who is into watches, and I can have a whole conversation with them and really blow their mind. And you never know who you might change and get into this collection and get into this world just by telling them something that they never knew about watches. Up next is the Omega de Ville. Now, this was also the very first fan mail I ever received, And shout out to Bert, by the way. Bert was amazing and is an amazing fan, an amazing friend for sending me this beautiful watch. I love this watch. Now, unfortunately, recently the mainspring broke, and due to COVID, I haven't had really time to go and bring it to my guy who fixes watches. But the minute I can get to it, I'm going to, because this watch is really cool. I know it's very small. I believe it's under, I think it's like 18 by 18, but I still love it. I think it's very classy and elegant, and I think that it has a lot of history to it. It's an old, the very first DeVille they ever created, and as you know, the first watch I ever had was an Omega, so it kind of comes back to that. We'll skip ahead, and we're going on to the Orient Sea King. Now, this watch is incredibly cool to me. I don't know why I kept it. It really has no significant value to me. I just think it's a really cool looking watch. And I just figured, you know what, I spent $100. I might as well just keep this puppy in here. I'm not going to sell it for anything more or less than that, so there's no really point of getting rid of it. And I like it. It's an automatic watch, and I think Orient is, if you want to check out my video up in the corner there, Orient is doing things that's a little bit more fresh and refreshing compared to Seiko. And they're both Japanese brands. So I really, really do like the Orient lines, and I really like the Orient brand because they're automatics, they're in-house movements, and you really can't go wrong with the style that this thing brings to your wrist. I mean, look at this thing. It's a style puppy over here. Now this watch coming up is a vintage Mido. Now this watch is given to me by one of my closest watch collecting buddies, and he gave it to me for Christmas a while back. And I love this watch. It's vintage, and what's really cool is the movement inside is a bumper. Now, not many people know what a bumper is. I think they've kind of died out since their creation, but long story short, the way this watch works is the rotor will bump inside and turn the mainspring that way, as opposed to being a full rotating rotor. It just nicks and knocks, and every time you move your wrist, you can feel it kind of vibrate, which is really cool. I think that just shows the changes and the innovation that the watch world has gone through. So I've kept this watch in my collection. Plus, Mido's such a great brand; it's very underrated, and a lot of watch people actually respect the Mido line. So if you ever want to check out Mido, definitely check them out. I really highly recommend it, and this vintage watch is incredibly cool. I mean, how can you go wrong with such a beautiful, cool vintage piece? Up next is a watch you're never gonna see anywhere else. Now, this watch was custom made by the Brian Van Way collection. Now, I made it to commemorate the 500 subscribers I got way back in, I believe, May. So this is the Watch Snob Island Timer. It is 100% customized by me. The face, the dial, the bezel. It's an open case back, which I think is really cool, with a brown leather band and a blue stitching. I think that it really ties this piece in. It has a crown on the, I wanted to do something kind of funny. I decided to take the crown from Royal Caribbean. I really love cruise ships. I know, I'm a typical cruise guy. Look at me. Hawaiian shirts and I'm a typical cruiser. So I took the crown from Royal Caribbean and I put it on this watch because I wanted to commemorate something that meant something to me and my travels, and I really love the islands, and most of the time I'm on the cruise. So I decided to create sort of an homage to that, and an homage to my life, as well as an homage to my channel. So this watch really means a lot to me, and I really, really appreciate the work that Brian Van Way has done. If you want to check him out, you can check him out at Brian Van Way on Facebook. He can make any kind of watch you're dreaming of. And let me tell you, he puts in a lot of work into these vol stocks. So congratulations, Brian Van Way. I've got to see your career grow from just a small-time watchmaker to where you are today with over thousands of people buying watches from you and really appreciating the craftsmanship you put in these watches. I'm going to do a full-fledged review of this watch because the things that this thing comes with is just amazing. The kit that this comes with, the full kit is just incredible. So thank you very much, Brian Van Way, for making my dreams come true of having a one-of-a-kind piece that you'll never really find anywhere else. Probably because not many people would want fucking Royal Caribbean on it. But we'll get back into that. Up next is the Rolex Datejust. I had to keep... This watch is just such a classic watch, and I love the fact that I have a Rolex in my collection. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be lying if I said it's not cool to say I have a Rolex. And it means a lot to me because I actually worked really hard to get this watch. 18, and I was busting my ass, busting tables and working at an old folks home. And the second I saved up enough money, me and my dad shot over to an estate sale, and we were able to pick up this vintage piece. It's from the 70s. It still works. It runs like a dream, and I really love the two-tone gold bezel with the gold Jubilee bracelet, and as well as the diamond indices. Those are really cool, and they really pop out. And sometimes, when I feel like being a snob, I throw on the Rolex and I go out, and it's a good feeling. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be lying to you if I said it's not a great feeling. Up next is my grandfather's Omega. Now, this watch means the world to me because it's the first luxury watch I ever owned, and it was gifted to me when I was about 16, and I never even knew, really knew much about this watch. And I used to wear it to Boy Scouts, and I beat the everlasting piss out of this watch. And because of that, it ended up being broken, and I kind of just discarded it. And I love this watch. It just brings back so many memories, and my grandfather's still living, so I can't really say that it really brings back any bad memories. But me and my grandfather are best friends. That's the best part of all this. We used to hang out together. We'd go in the backyard and do all these crazy things, shoot bow and arrows, and just play bocce. And it was a great time growing up, knowing that my grandfather was in the house and that I had someone to look up to and be best friends with. And I used to run home from school wearing his watch and be all excited to go hang out with him. And so I really appreciate all the times and the memories that I have with this watch, as well as the memories that I have with him. And this is why this watch is still in my collection. It just means so much to me, and it means the world that I get to have a piece of him with me at all times. Up next is the Zenith Surf. Now, the reason why I kept this watch in my collection is because this was a graduation gift. I just recently graduated from college, and this was a graduation gift from the parents, and I really wanted something vintage, and I really wanted something really unique and standoutish. And this Zenith Surf with this blue dial is absolutely incredible. I mean, the way the indices and the numbers pop against that blue dial is just incredible. I think it's a really, really sexy vintage watch, and I really am glad that this is a part of my collection. And last but not least, we have the watch that I wear all the time, and that is the Bulova Computron. I wear this watch everywhere. I think it's a perfect watch that I can just wear around and not worry about beating the crap out of it. And it's really stylish, and it grabs people's attention. The amount of compliments and questions I have on this watch. Where's the face? Where's the dial? Where's the numbers? I can't see. How do you tell time on that watch? Is it a case that you flip open? And I just simply, nope. And it's just really cool. It's something that you don't see every day. And I think that, it's funny. I was actually buying shoes the other day, and the guy behind the counter goes, "That's the Bulova Computron." I go, "Are you a watch snob?" And he goes, "I appreciate value watches, but I used to work at K Jewelers, and I really, really wanted this watch when it first came out because it's the reissue. And I wasn't able to get it, and I was like, man, you got to go back in and you got to get that watch." I was able to open up a conversation and dialogue with people, and that's my biggest goal in life. I love making new friends wherever I go and finding more people to hang out with. So this is one of those watches that just opens up a great line of dialogue and allows me to be myself and bring people into my world a little bit of watch collecting. So this is my go-to watch. I wear it all the time. It's got a couple scratches, a couple dings, but overall this watch is pretty perfect to me. I love this watch to no extent. So yeah, that pretty much sums up my watch collection of 2021, and I will see you guys in 2022. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and it really helps me out. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers, and we're almost there. We're at 825. And so I really appreciate you guys supporting me and being with me, and I hope you guys have a blessed holiday and a wonderful new year. And I will see you guys in 2022. Holy cow. Time flies when you're collecting watches. I'm not a watch snob, and neither are you. Thank you guys. Enjoy.